Hey everyone, this is Mukesh Otwani once again from learn-automation.com. Today in this video, we are going to talk about loops. Okay, so in Python, we have while loop and for loop, but this video is only talking about for loop in detail. Next video, we'll talk about the while loop. Now, the moment you talk about the loop statement, as the name says, whenever you have to run one thing at multiple times, right? Instead of repeating the same statement multiple times, you can run a loop. So loop is nothing but you are iterating one thing multiple times, depends on the conditions. So when I say iteration, it means one thing you are doing multiple times. Now you will see this term multiple times in Python, that this particular object is iterable, right? The moment say iterable means we can iterate this value, or we can traverse these values. So till now, whatever we discussed, right? We discussed about the list, we discussed set, tuple, dictionary, string. These things are iterable, means we can iterate these with the help of for loop and while loop. Okay. So if I give you some couple of examples in real time, let's say I have to create 100 files. Okay. So instead of creating one file one by one, I can create a for loop that will create 100 file for me. I'm just giving some dummy examples. Definitely once we write the code, we need to make some changes, but I'm giving you one overall idea how these loops can be used in real time, right? If I have to count the number of links on this web page, or I have to write the number of records in the Excel sheet, definitely I will be using these loop statements. So let's see how this for loop works. So I will create a Python file and I will say for loop demo. Yeah. So let's talk about the syntax. First of all, you need anything which can be iterated, or we can iterate that particular object. In our case, let's talk about a string. So I will say I have a name, and this name, let's say Python, and I want to traverse this, or I want to iterate this. So I will write a for loop, or I will just say for space, give any variable name. Okay. This is just a local variable, so you can give any name. I will give, let's say a space, you need to say in. Now after in, you need to give the object which we want to traverse, or which we want to iterate. In our case, we want to iterate name, right? Which is nothing but a string. I will put a semicolon here and hit enter. It will take the white spaces, and now we have a proper indentation. Let me just print this a value and let's see what exactly it is going to return. Let's execute this, right click, run as, and you can see it is actually giving me all the characters one by one. So how it is happening? So when we say name, right, this string is nothing but a sequence of character, or the combination of characters. So it's picking up one character, which is P, it is assigning into A, then it is printing P, which is this. Next time it is taking the second character, which is Y, it is storing into A, and it is printing again, which is Y. Okay, so this is how it is printing character by character from a particular string. I know this is not the best example, but let me cover multiple examples, then you will get a clear picture about how we can run this for loop. Okay, just give me a couple of minutes, and trust me, this concept will be clear for you. Now let's use some other objects which we can iterate. So in the previous videos, we discussed set, list, tuple, dictionary, everything, right? So in case if you haven't seen that video, I would highly recommend you to watch that videos, because they are actually, we are going to use now every time. Okay, so make sure you complete that videos. So I'm going to create a list. I will say this list is L1, or let's say this list is marks. So in this list, I'm going to store a couple of marks. So let's say I have 70, 80, and I have 90, and let's say I have 100. Yeah. So this is how we create the list. Now if I want to iterate this list, I will say for, again I will use some variable, let's say m for marks, space in, again I will be using this list that we created, colon, hit enter. Okay, we got the white spaces, which is indentation here. Now I will print m. So what it will do, it will take one value, first value from the marks, it will store into m, it will print 70, then it will take the second one, 80, 1900. Once it will reach till the end of this list, it will come out. Okay, then we will say bye. Okay, so let's run this. I will simply just run this program, and you can see 70, 80, 90, 100, and after this, once it is done, it is printing bye. Clear? Because this is how it is working Now instead of passing this list here, can I directly pass these values here? Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. So what you can do, you can directly say that I have a list of, let's say, again I will create a new list this time, 12, 23, 34, 45. So now it will pick one value from the list, it will store into M, then it will traverse just like it traversed this one. So instead of storing into a variable, then passing, you can directly pass here as well. Okay, so let's right click, run as, and this time you can see it has printed the latest values which is coming from this list, not this list. Okay, now what if I ask you to write a small program that will find the even numbers and odd numbers from a given list? Okay, that's very basic questions or very basic program that you write when you start any programming language, right? So let's do one thing. Let's write a small program that will count number of how many numbers are even, how many numbers are odd. So for that I will be using list again. Okay, maybe we'll keep that program at last. Let's cover the different ways how we can use this for loop. At last we will be writing this program, and it's going to be very easy. It is just you need to understand some fundamentals that anyways I will cover, so you can take this program as a reference. Now what if I ask that you need to find the sum of the numbers which is given in this list, right? So I will create a variable called sum, let's say. Okay, sum is also a method, so let's do one thing. I will say the final marks. Okay, and by default I will assign a 0 here. So instead of printing, what I will do, the moment we get the value, I will say final marks equal to this final marks with this value which we are getting from here. Okay, so when we execute this program, what will happen? It will start with this 12 will be assigned into M. So M, which is 12 with 0, so final marks will be 12. So this value will get updated with 12. Next time when the for loop will run, 23 will be allocated to M, so it is 23. 23 with 12, we will get the latest value which is 35, and like this it will continue. So once this for loop is done, you will get the updated value in the final marks, right? So I will write here and I will say final value is, now you will see a small catch here. Okay, so before that let's print the final output, then I will explain you this one. So I will say print final marks, and we should get the proper output with this, which is the addition, right? Which is perfectly fine this time, correct? Because 23 plus 12, 35, 35 plus 45, it will be 80, 80 plus 34, it is 114. Perfect. But now what if I say I want to say final value is, and I want to add this, then let's uncomment this one, and this time when I say first print this one like final value is, then concat the value which I have, which is final marks. Let's run it. Okay, and here we got the issue now. So why we're getting this issue? As you can see, again we got the type here. It says we can only concat string to string, not into integer, and that makes sense here because final marks, which is actually integer, and we are actually doing the concatenation with string. So how it can be done? You just say we will convert this into a string. So just pass this integer value within a string constructor, so it will convert into a string, and then you can pass. So you can see this time it is printing the string that we have given, then it is saying 114. Now in case if you're not comfortable with this, what you can do, first let's do one thing. I will say result. So this final marks I will typecast here using a string class constructor. So this is how we are going to typecast. So this is actually integer, we are converting into string. So the result finally we have is a string. Now I will just pass string here. So we can concat string with string, it is allowed, and we will get the final output, which is this. Yeah, it's very easy. It is just you need to understand how these things works. So we have seen how this list works, right? In the same way you can go with set also, because set also we can traverse. We can also traverse the dictionary, everything. So let me show you one by one. I hope it is clear. In case if you have any other issue, let me know in the comment section. I'm creating a new file, and this time let me create one sentence, and my sentence say I love Python. If I want to traverse this, again I will say for I or a x y z any variable in sentence, and let's print I. So what it will do, it will print again. Okay, let me just, can you see? It will print again with the white spaces, because white space is also a character. So just keep this point in mind. This is the same thing which I covered in my previous videos as well, that white space is also considered as a character. Clear? Let's create a set here. Okay, for set I will be saying, let's say I have 10, then I have 30, then I have 90, then let's say I have a value called Mukesh, and let's say one more value called 90.0, and let's say one more called Python. Again I will give some duplicate value just to make sure that it should not allow duplicate. So this is how we define set, right, in curly braces. So this time if I say for ABC colon or in sentence colon print ABC, and you will notice we will not have any duplicate value this time. Yeah, plus if you notice they are not in a proper sequence. I had a sequence of 10, 30, 90, Mukesh, 90.0 and Python. First it is giving 10, then it is giving Python, then it is giving Mukesh, and so on. So it is unordered, plus it is removing the duplicate. Okay, so we discussed about the list, we discussed about the set. Let's talk about the dictionary. So again, if I create my dictionary called my dict, which is my dictionary, and let's say if I'm creating a dictionary which will have few key value pairs, okay, separated by comma. So here if I say roll number 1 to this guy, roll number 2 to let's say Python. So this is my dictionary. Can we traverse dictionary with the help of for loop? Yes, we can do that. So what you can do, as usual, let me comment this. Again I will use for, I will use X or dict. Okay, it's already predefined keywords, I will not use. I will say D in, and I will be using my dictionary that we created colon. The moment you hit enter and when you say print D is just a variable that we created, right? And my dictionary is the variable, and this variable have the complete dictionary. The moment you right click run this, you will only get the keys, guys. Just remember, okay? The moment you start using for loop, and when you iterate dictionary, by default it will give you the key, which is 1 and 2 in our case. What if I add one more key here? Okay, so this time I will make key as a string. So I will give key as a name, and value also I will give as a string. Name here I will give, let's say Otwani, and let's right click run as, and you can see I got 1, 2 and name. Okay, now let me show you two very interesting method. One is items, one is values. These two methods we already discussed in our dictionary video. So in case you're new to dictionary, please go ahead and watch that video. Now I will be using same for loop. I will be using D variable. Since it's a local variable, I can use it. I will say space in, and this is my dictionary. So first of all, if I say dot items, okay, and just print this items, and let's see what exactly it is going to return. I will just say print D, and let me just comment this. So can you see we got the complete items in a proper format. When I say format, it means key and value pair, right? I got 1 with Mukesh, 2 with Python, and the last record name with Otwani. But I don't want all the items. Okay, let's say I just need the key, I just need the value. Is there any way where we can store key value separately? Yes, we can do that. So what we can do, I can say A comma B. So key, when we iterate, right? So all the key will be stored in A variable and all the values will be in B. So you can see this, right? One will be stored in A and this value, which is Mukesh, will be stored in B. So right now we have 3 records. You will get 3 times A and 3 times B. The moment I run this, you can see we got 1, which is key. Then I'm printing B, which is nothing but the value of that record. So 1 Mukesh, 2 Python, and name out 1. Clear? And if you simply say my items, and if you just store into one variable, it will give you the complete record. Now, is there any way, because when I give complete dictionary, it is only giving me key. When I use items, it is giving me record and I have to store it separately. Is there any way that we can use, or we can get only values? Is it possible? Yes. So you just say for, okay, and let's use again a variable or any other variable. In, I will use my dictionary and I will say dot values. So it will only return you the values, and that values you can use. Let me put colon. Okay, so let me quickly comment this and let's right click, run. You can see this time we got only the values which is coming from dictionary. Okay, again all these methods are coming from dictionary. It is just I'm showing you how you can use them or consume them with the help of for loop. Okay, clear? Let me create another class. I hope it is clear. In case if you find any issue, guys, please let me know in the comment section. I will be happy to assist you. So I'm just deleting all these statements that we have written. Okay, so let me show you another very interesting range method here. Okay, so let's say I want to print value from 0 to 100. So instead of creating a list, I can use a range method here. If I say for x in, now I need the numbers, right? Or I need object which can be iterated. Now if I want to iterate some list, I will create a list set dictionary. But if I don't want to create, I just want some values predefined. So you can see if I say range is a predefined class. Okay, so you can see here I can provide start and stop. So let me just give, I want to start from 0 and it should go till 50. So what it will do, it will generate a number, okay, from range 0 to 50. It will assign into x that I will be printing. So I will say print x, and you can see we got the value. Just remember one thing, it is starting with 0, right? And what we said, go till 50. So it will, this 50 is the stop counter. It will not include 50 here. Okay, and in case if you don't want to give the from where to start, you can also give the final. Let's say I want number from till 30. So even if you don't give the first argument, it will start from 0, it will end till 29. So this will generate a number in this particular range, 0 to 10, 30, or whatever value will specify. Clear? Now what I want to calculate all the even numbers and odd numbers from 0 to 100, and I want to print the even numbers separately and I want to print odd numbers separately. So what can we do here? Let's see. So for this, first of all, we definitely need the numbers, right? So these numbers are already available here. So in order to get the even and odd number, we discussed one operator called mod operator, right? Which generally gives us the remainder. So let's say if I say 2 mod 2, it will give me 0, which means it's an even number. But if I say 3 mod 2, it will give me remainder equal to 1, which means it's a odd number, right? So I will just give a mod of 2. If it is an even number, sorry, if it is equal to 0, it's an even number, otherwise it's an odd number. So we will simply write a quick program which will do this task for us, and we will get a list of even numbers and odd numbers. Very easy, just 2 lines of code and you will get the output. So we got this value, right? Now I don't want to print this value. I'm going to create 2 empty lists. one list will be for even, one list for the odd. So I will say this is even number list. Okay, this is a blank list. Same thing I will do for odd list, and this is also a blank list. The moment I get the value, I will keep on appending into this list. That is what my task is. So anyways, we'll get the value within the x variable, right? So I will say if, again we are using if conditions, if x, the value which is coming from the range, mod 2, if the result or the remainder is equal to 0, then it's a, okay, divide by 2. If it is equal to 0, it means it's an even number, right? In that case, I need to add this x into this list. So how do we add this? We will simply say even list dot append. We discussed this append method in our list video. In case if you haven't watched, please go ahead and refer that video. It's going to give you so much information about the list. If it is not equal to 0, it means definitely it's any value other than 0, which is 1 in our case. So I will say else add this into odd list, right? If equal to 0, add into the even list, otherwise add into the odd list, and we are done. Once we are done with this for loop, I will simply say print, and I will print even list first, then I will be printing odd list first, sorry, odd list after even. Yeah, let's right click, run as your program, and you can see from 0 to 30 or 0 to 29, these are the even numbers and these are the odd numbers. Again, this program can be manipulated in any way, right? That find the number of Armstrong numbers, palindrome numbers, anything. Yeah, so this program can be manipulated with any other value. If I say 100, it will give me the value from 0 to 100, number of even and odd, right? Very easy program, I know, but I hope you got the concept. Here we use if conditions, else, for loop, list, right? So this is how you can play with this. Again, we will be taking some complex examples as well once you move ahead, but this is just for your understanding. So let's create another file, and in this program I will show you how you can create the nested loop, okay, or the nested for loop. Again, it's very easy. It is just you need to follow the syntax which I showed you, and everything will remain same. Okay, so in order to show you this example, I'm going to create two list or two set or any two things which can be iterated. So I'm going to take list 1, which will have few things, and I will also have list 2. So this list can have any type of values. So let's say I have few names. Let's say I will take name is Rahul, second let's say Rajiv, and let's take one more called Mukesh. So I have 3 values within this list. Similarly, I will take 3 programming language for list 2. Here I will take Python, then I will take Java, and the last value I will take, let's say, JavaScript. Now what we did so far, we did for, and I have taken one variable, right? Let's keep it a space in, and I will say L1 colon, hit enter, colon, hit enter. Again we got the indentation. Now again I want to write one more for loop, and this time I will say for, I need one more variable, so I will say b space in space L2 colon, hit enter, and you can see again we got the indentation. So what I want to print first a value, then space, okay, and then b. So now let me show you how exactly it is going to run. First of all, okay, let me show you the output first. Can you see? First it says 3 times Rahul, then Rahul with Python, Java and JavaScript, then it takes Rajiv with 3 programming language, at last it takes Mukesh with 3 programming language. So let me show you. First of all, outer loop will execute, right? So from L1 it will pick Rahul. Rahul will be assigned into A. then it will go inside the second for loop, which is a nested loop. Here from the L2 it will take Python. Now first this loop will execute. Once it is done, then it will execute the next iteration of this for loop. It will execute again, and then it will take the third record and it will execute again thrice. So when it start executing, it will take Python. So it will have Rahul with Python, which is this. Second time when you execute from the L2, it will take Java. Still we have Rahul, so it will take Rahul with Java. At last it will take JS and JS with Rahul. Right? Once this inner loop completes, it will go back to again outer loop. From L2 it will pick the second record Rajiv, and then it will say Rajiv, Python, Java, JavaScript. At last it will go with Mukesh, Python, Java and JavaScript. So this is how we can achieve for loop, or I will say nested for loop in Python. What if I want to have one more? Is it possible? Yes, you can have. Again I will create a new list. This list I will just have some values, okay? Or maybe I can just write the location. Let's say India, Australia, some dummy locations, and let's say USA. Right click. Okay, not right click now. Let's execute. So just after this for loop, I will write one more for loop. This time I will say C space in. I will take L3 this time, colon, and hit enter. Let's add print. First of all, I will print A, then plus space, then B, then using plus again I will create one more space, then I will print C. So again, when it comes to execution, now you know how it will work. So first of all, it will pick Rahul, okay, which it will take list 1 Rahul. Rahul will be in A. Then it will go to second loop, it will take Python, and then it will go inside this, and this time it will say India. So the first iteration will be Rahul, Python, India. Second iteration, Rahul, Python, Australia. Rahul, Python, USA. Okay, once this complete, then it will pick Rahul, Java, India. Then Rahul, Java, Australia. Rahul, JS, USA. Once this is done, it will take the second record of list 1. This time again it will start Rajiv, Python, India, Rajiv, Python, Australia, and Rajiv, Python, USA, and it will continue. So let me just run this, and you just observe the output. Okay, as I said, first Rahul, Python, and then India, Australia, USA. Once it is done, then it will take Rahul, Java with all this, which is this, and then I will pick Rahul, JS with these values. So again, depends on your requirement. You can have multiple nested loops, and we will be using this kind of loops when we start reading the Excel in a nested format. Okay, so don't worry, we will be using 2 for loops, not 3. It is just I want to show you how exactly it works, but 2 loops is enough. I hope it is clear now. Now the last part before we end this video, I want to show you this tuple unpacking. So for that, let me create a new file, and maybe I can create copy of this. So in case if you're new to tuple, then please watch my previous video regarding tuples, where we discussed tuples in detail. Okay, so in order to explain for loop with tuples or tuples, I just need 2 to 3 tuples so that I can show you how it works. So what I will do, I will create tuple T1, okay, and this tuple, let's have some values. So I will have 2, 3, 4, very basic tuple. Second tuple, I will have, let's say 10, 20 and 30. Now I want to create list of tuples. Okay, let's have one more tuple quickly. So 20, 30, or let's say 100, 200 and 300. Perfect. I want to create a list of tuples. So what I will do, I will just say L1, and inside this L1 I will say T1, which is tuple 1, T2, which is tuple 2, and T3 means tuple 3. So this list have actually 3 tuples. So when I say print L1, you will just right click, run. Okay, tuple 1, tuple 2, tuple 3. Perfect. Now what if I say I want to iterate these list of tuples? So in that case, what I will do, first of all, if I say x in L1 and when I say print x, okay, so this is going to return me tuples, and we got the tuples 2 3 4, which is t1, then 10 20 30 t2 and respective tuples. Now I want these values, tuples values. Okay, so this is giving me tuple. Again, I can say 1 2 3 or 0 1 2. So let's say if I say x of 0, x of 1, x of 2, right? Because this is again index based, right? I can say x0, x1, x2 the moment I run this, and I got the specific value 2 3 4 10 20 30 100 200 300. But instead of using this index, is there any way to, you know, get values in a proper variable? Okay, so now yes, it is possible with the help of tuple unpacking. So what we will do, we are getting 3 values, right? So what if I say x, y, z? It means first value of tuple will store into x, second value of the tuple will store into y, third value of tuple will store into z. So if I want to get these value, I can say x, y and z. And you can see we got the exact output. Yeah. Okay, so sometimes you will also get this bracket here, which is also fine. Whether you give bracket or not doesn't matter. Okay, so you will get the same output. So this is for loop with list of tuples, where you can do the tuple unpacking and you can use the tuple values. Again, you might find this little tricky, complicated, but it's not. Just if you remember the basics, this is all what we did earlier. It is just, I'm just combining everything and we are getting the output. Yeah. So I showed you how in a different ways we can use this for loop. Okay, I could have shown normal for loop, right? But somehow I found for loop is the base of any programming language. So we have discussed for loop with string, list, set, dictionary, tuples, list of tuples. We have discussed about the nested for loop. Yeah, so that's all I have for today. So in case if you're new to this channel, then please subscribe this channel, like this video, share with your friends, and let me know if you have any issue in the comment section. And in case if you have any other question, you can mail me to my email, which is mukeshotwani@learn-automation.com. Thank you so much, guys. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.